We'll start with the prayers. Om Badram Karnebhi Shrunayama Devaha Badram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashrabaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r Dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Last week, we covered the first mantra of this Mandukya Upanishad, a very beautiful mantra, which said that Om is everything in this universe. The glory of Om has been sung in chapter 8 of the Bhagavad Gita, where it was said, at the time of death, if somebody chants Om and he leaves the body, he will be one with the God. It's so powerful is this word called Om. In many Upanishads, it's been said that by chanting Om, the Lord created the universe. There are several Upanishads which describe the glory of Om. And in this Mandukya Upanishad, the way it has been presented, this Om is, it is a timeless principle. It directly talks about the essence of the Upanishads, which is Brahman. So indirectly, Om represents Brahman. The essence behind the individual and the essence behind the universe is this Om. When it says that Om is the past, all that was in the past. As you know, the entire universe of waking comes in time and space coordinate. Without time and space, there is no experience for us through the gross body. So time is an essential principle for all experiences of the past, whether it was in this Janma or whether it was in the previous Janma or in the future Janma. All our experiences are always in time when we talk about the gross body. And this Om is beyond the time. Beyond the time means I have to imagine a situation where there is no time. When there is no time, okay, let's look at the logic. When I experience time, I experience this entire waking state, complete state. That means what? When I don't experience time, I will not be in the waking state. That is the first conclusion you will derive. Because the waking world is related to time. That means Om represents something which is beyond the waking state, in which time itself is not there. That is the meaning of timelessness. That means in our real nature, which is pure consciousness, there is no world and there is no time. That is how I have to understand the first verse. There is no world and there is no time. That means I am the transcendent principle. That is the essence of the first mantra. So, Om is there when the time is there. That means it is an immanent principle. It continues to be there when time is there. Om is there when time is not there. That means when the world is there, that consciousness principle is there. When this world is not there, when this waking state is not there, when this gross body is not there, Om, or that consciousness, pure awareness, is there. This is a very important step to understand our real nature. So right in the first verse itself, the Upanishad tells us, I am beyond time. Time originates in me, the consciousness, awareness, and time resolves in me, the pure awareness, consciousness. Therefore, we say time is an object of consciousness. This is a very, very subtle idea which is conveyed by the first mantra. And when my mind goes in this direction, in this thought process, even in the state of meditation, I will simply glide into what has been indicated by the word Om. Last week, we did a meditation where I chanted Om, and then you heard the sound Om, and then you also were aware of the silence before the second Om was chanted. The idea behind this meditation is to introduce the topic of awareness. You can all continue to do this first meditation in your own sessions and slowly become more and more aware of the awareness. Because all of us are this pure awareness, but this pure awareness has been hidden. This Om or Sat Chit Ananda, I'm using different terms, but they all convey the same consciousness principle. And the more we become familiar with this awareness, through this Omkara, the first meditation of last week, we can just spend 5 minutes. It's not required to do more than 5 minutes of Omkara meditation. Chant 3 times. Purely chant Om, stop, again chant Om, stop, again chant Om, stop. Continuously you can do this for 2 weeks, 1 week, no problem. This is only an introduction to our nature. So that was all about the first mantra. Today we are going to see the second mantra, and let us go straight into this verse. Sarvam etad Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. Soyam Atma Chatushpat. This is the second verse. Etat Sarvam is Brahman. What does it mean? All this is Brahman. In the first it was said Om iti Brahma. Om is the name. Brahman is the reality. So the name was indicated as Om, the sound Om. And the reality was indicated by the silence, which is also indicated by Om, because the Om, when you end, it resolves into silence. Again, when you chant Om, from silence the sound comes. So what does it mean? The sound comes from silence. The sound resolves into silence. This whole world comes from silence, and the whole world resolves into silence. That silence is my real nature. That silence is the reality. Everything else is name and form. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the 5 sense objects perceived by the sense organs, which we call it as this universe. All perceptions and conceptualizations by the intellect together form our experience of this universe. The Upanishads calls this experience as name and form. And the Upanishad says the substratum for this name and form is the silence, which is Brahman, which is the pure reality. Name and form is Mithya. Mithya means it appears. We will be studying this word Mithya in very big detail in the chapters which follow. Chapter 2, 3, 4, we'll be discussing the word Mithya. So the reality, the essence behind the whole creation is nothing else but this awareness, this consciousness principle. Each one of us is this consciousness principle, is the point which we must realize when we study this Upanishads. I am not the body, I am not the mind. The body and mind are the instruments provided by Ishvara to me to realize my real nature, which is this Om, which is this pure consciousness. Let your mind dwell on this. As you dwell, as your mind starts dwelling, as you hear more about this consciousness, more and more you hear, the more the mind will dissociate with the name and form, with the body and mind, and it will learn to abide in its true nature. When this happens, you will know. You will know because that is your presence, innate presence, which has not changed in time, which will not change at all. It is the eternal truth about our nature. This is a very, very profound divine subject matter which is being discussed. In the second verse, in the beginning, all is pointed in terms of name. In verse 2, all is pointed with reference to this reality, which is Brahman. In the first verse, Om is the name like chain, ring, bangle. These are three names. They have utility value. We wear them in our neck. We use them in our hand. They have utility value. This Jagrat Avastha has got a utility value. It is useful to us to experience this beautiful world. But then what is the substance of this ring and chain? The substance is gold. So what is the substance behind all our experiences? It is this awareness. So when we say gold is chain, ring, bangle, it is like saying Om is everything. Om, the sound Om. Here we are using the sound aspect. Many a times we can use the form also. We can use the taste. But behind the taste, what is there? It is this awareness. Behind the form, whatever we see in the world through our eyes, what is there? This Om, this consciousness. So we can say, with reference to the substance, we can say all this is gold, or with reference to what we perceive, what is the manifestation of this gold, we can say chain, ring, bangle is gold. That is the way that is the way we have to understand Etat Sarvam Brahma. What is Brahman? That is the second point. I am Atma Brahman. This Atma is Brahman. This Atma is Brahman. I am Atma Brahman is our main topic for discussion today. So as I said before, timelessness is the transcendental nature declared as Om. Transcendental means what? Beyond. Beyond means we can call it higher nature. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna teaches this transcendental nature by telling Arjuna all the aspects of this Atma. So from verse 12 to 25 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita is talking about this Atma, which is timeless. There it has been Ajo Nityam Shashwatoyam Puranaha Nahanyate Hanyamane Sharire. Shashwatam. It is Puranaha. It is Nityaha. All these terms are all what? It is indicating this substance, which is timeless, which is this awareness, which is called as Om in the first verse, which is a spiritual center in an individual. So all of us, if somebody asks us, who are you? You can boldly tell him, I am Om. We all give our biodata. That biodata is for the worldly purpose. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm a trader. I'm an IT specialist. These are all name and form. These are all biodata for the utility purpose, for transacting in the world. But our essence is what? Essence is what the Upanishads teaches us. The spiritual essence is the consciousness principle. That consciousness principle is indicated by the word Brahman. In the second verse, all this is Brahman is said. That means all this is Brahman. When it says, it means here we are talking about the world. In the first verse, it was the individual. I am this spiritual essence. In the second verse, all this, when you say this, it means the world. Idam shariram kaunteya. in chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita. Idam, the same idam is here. This. There it said the shariram is this kshetram. This whole world is nothing else but kshetram. It is name and form. Now the spiritual reality behind the world is what is indicated as Brahman. And this Brahman is immortal. When we say it is in this, when we refer to this consciousness with respect to the world, we bring in the space principle. Earlier it was the time. Here we are now talking about the all-pervading nature of this consciousness. This consciousness which is there in me is not only limited to this body, it is not only conditioned by the body, but it is the infinite. It extends beyond this body to the whole cosmos, to every part of the world, the 14 lokas, this consciousness is present. The Sat aspect is what expands it. It is all pervading. The Chit aspect I can know in my individual body. I am that consciousness nature. The Chit aspect, the consciousness, awareness nature. And when you talk about the world, we generally talk about the Sat aspect, the all-pervading aspect, existence aspect. So this timeless principle is not only timeless, but it is also spaceless. Om is Brahman, the individual I, which is there as consciousness in this body, is the universal I. Universal I means which is beyond the body. With this conclusion, what do I know? What do I infer? I infer that the world rests on this all-pervading consciousness. The world is name and form. It is Mithya. It is like the rope snake. It appears, but the substratum is the rope. The substratum for this appearance of the world is the consciousness, which is all pervading, which is timeless. Generally, we give the example of space when we want to understand this consciousness and its all pervading nature. This is given by the Upanishads itself. The individual space and the total space. We can say the space in a room and the space outside the room. The space is limited in a room because of the walls of the room. The moment you break the walls, what happens is the room space is nothing else but the entire space. You cannot divide. If the walls are not there, you can say the space is one. Similarly, consciousness in one body, which is the sakshi, the witness of the mind, the witness of our emotions, the witness of our thoughts, that sakshi, that consciousness is limitless. It exists beyond this body. It exists beyond this waking state through which I experience the body. That means this consciousness is all pervading Turiyam, Brahman. I'm using the word Turiyam. I'm just giving you another term which has been used in the Upanishads. I'm only trying to bring it out, explain it to you so that our mind, while listening to the talk itself, is able to go beyond time, beyond space, beyond the three states of consciousness and hit that arrow. We are through Om, we can hit that arrow of Brahman. In Mandukya Upanishad, this is a very beautiful example. It says through the, you use the bow of the bow and arrow. You use that arrow, which is the Om, the sound Om. With that, what do you hit? You hit the silence. You hit that consciousness. And once the arrow touches that consciousness, it falls apart. It merges with that entire silence. So Atma is reflected in the body, in the buddhi, and we experience that buddhi because of reflection in the thoughts. When that thought gets a reflection of the consciousness, which is Atman, then the thought becomes manifest to us. We are able to realize our thoughts. Pure Atma, pure Brahman has got no body, no mind, no world. But when this body is seen in the waking state, that our mind should go towards the pure consciousness. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I should remember. The moment I am aware of my body, I should remember what? I remember from where is this body originating? The consciousness in this body is originating from that pure consciousness. That is what I should remember. This and that. With reference to a book, we say book, this book, because it is near to us. Wall, body, mind, world, these are all that. So what is nearer to us, we say this. What is far away from, with reference to the body, with reference to the consciousness, we can say this. And when we go outside into the world, we say that, the world of objects. So this Atma is the spark, the divine spark experienced as the self. And inert matter cannot have any existence without borrowing existence from consciousness. Very important principle. You should know this is Vedanta. Without borrowing, the table borrows consciousness in existence from me, the awareness. Without me, the pure awareness, existence, this body, this table, this world does not have an independent existence. This is the highest of Vedanta. And each one of us has to realize this nature of our own true self. When we understand that I am the ultimate essence of this whole creation or the whole experiences, then I know that I am that pure Atma. It's possible. That is our goal through this study. So this world is vitalized by this sentient, knowing principle. This knowing principle is called as this Brahman. It's very important that we must know that we are the spiritual being. That being means existence. The spirituality stands for that consciousness principle. How do I understand this Brahman? How do I understand this awareness principle? It's too abstract for me. How do I understand this? Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, he gives this beautiful example of electricity and the bulb. In many of his talks of Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, you will find this example given by him. And he says, how do I realize electricity? Electricity, if I tell you, it's just a name, it's just a word. But it exists. That electricity, if I want to show it to you, I show it to you in a bulb. The glowing bulb, when the bulb glows, I can on and off the switch and I say, see, here is the electricity. Through the wire, I cannot show, but when the bulb glows, I can say the bulb glows because of the electricity. Similarly, when I see my body and my mind, I cannot show the power behind it. I cannot show the awareness behind it. I can only say by looking at your thoughts. I say, come on, are you knowing your thoughts? Yes, I know my thoughts. Are you knowing your emotions? Yes, I know it. All of us know that. I know my emotions. I like something. I don't like certain things. How do I know I like something? That knowingness is the nature of consciousness. Two aspects, perceptibility and dynamism. I perceive the world. My sense organs are perceiving the form, the beautiful tree, the beautiful mountain, the beautiful river. But it is the eyes which are seeing the name and form, but behind that is this consciousness awareness principle. Like behind the bulb is this electricity, all perceptions are possible only because the eyes and the mind borrows this consciousness, and then it makes this whole world visible, perceptible to us in the waking state. I'm specifically using waking state because in the deep sleep state, something else happens. We'll see that as we go through the mantras. And then it also says Atma has got 4 parts, 4 fields of activities. 3 parts resolve into the 4th. Waking, dream, and sleep, they all resolve into Turiyam. So we can say that only Turiyam exists because that is the independently existing principle. The 3 planes of consciousness which we revel in daily are name and form. The truth is the 4th Turiyam, the awareness, the consciousness. The 3 experiences merge into one whole. Purnamada. When we say Purnamada, it refers to Brahman, that pure awareness consciousness. Purnam idam. When we say Purnam idam, it means this world. This world which we see, which we experience, which is infinite in nature, has come from that infinite, that timeless principle, which is called as Purnam Adaha. That Purnam and this Purnam, basically it is the same. That is the beauty of that Purnamada mantra. Purnamada, if you are able to understand completely in your own self, not outside, not in the books, not in the CDs, it must be realized in our own self. Whatever is the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita and the teaching of the Upanishad is meant to be realized as our nature. If we don't do this, if we don't apply that to our own core inner nature, then the study is not complete. It will not transform. It will be purely academic. I heard something and then, it is there in the books and it is there in my notes. That is why meditation becomes extremely important. Because in meditation, you bring that teaching and apply it into yourself. See the fact that I am that pure awareness, that consciousness, in which there is no waking, there is no dream, there is no sleep. It exists by itself. Independently existing principle in the entire universe is Atma. I have put some other extra notes in this but I will explain these notes slowly as we go. Here I will only introduce these topics, but as we go through this entire Mandukya Upanishad, I will explain these in a little bit more detail. But here I just want to give you an introduction. And then I want to talk a little bit about the Mahavakyam, I am Atma Brahman. Generally, we talk about three orders of reality in Upanishads. Triveda Satta Vada. And now I am telling you what is there in Vichara Sagara. Point number 1 is directly from Vichara Sagara, the text called Vichara Sagara. It is an introduction because I want to bring in some Vichara Sagara into this Mandukya Upanishad discussions so that you are able to reach and experience that core nature as Atman. These are all concepts and ideas which help us to realize the truth. So, normally we say that there is paramarthikam, vyavaharikam, pratibhasikam. For students of Upanishads, these three terms are not new. Paramarthikam means the absolute nature of consciousness, which is our true nature. Vyavaharikam means what we experience in the waking state. And pratibhasikam means what is experienced in the dream state. So there is a group of philosophers in Vedanta itself who believe that there are three levels of experiences. Paramarthikam is something which is the truth, which I will know. It is to be known as myself. Vyavaharikam is this waking state. Pratibhasikam is the dream state, which is Pratibhasikam is with the mind I experience, pure mind. Vyavaharikam means I experience through my sense organs and the mind. Then there is a big analysis in Vichara Sagara which says that Vyavaharikam and Pratibhasikam, actually speaking, they are only one. This is a new way of presentation in Vichara Sagara. So there's, they say, drishti srishti vada. Drishti srishti means the whole analysis is based on only one thing. I am the consciousness, and whatever I see is a drishti. Drishti means it is seen. So here it says, whatever is seen, whether it is in the waking state or whether it is seen in the dream state, it is together, it is basically, it's only vyavaharikam. It's only one. You can merge both as, either you can call it vyavaharikam or you can call it as pratibhasikam. So I am that consciousness, and I experience a projected world which is projected by Ishvara, or you can call it, it is projected by avidya. That means ignorance. This is the core analysis of Vichara Sagara. There is a 400 pages of notes are available for this Drishti Srishti Vada. I mean, it's a very big topic. And in that, the student is a person who is logic oriented, tarka. So the entire analysis has got to do with logic. Visishta Advaitin, they believe that there is only one reality, which is this world. I am the part and Ishvara is the whole. That's it. Visishta. That means there is nothing else except Ishvara. Only one order of reality. Many philosophers, they believe in one order of reality. They do not believe in the paramarthikam. Only Vedanta talks about a higher and a lower reality. Whenever we use the term Brahman as the cause of the world, that is the time when we use the principle of adhyaropa. I'm just introducing these topics so that you get familiarized with the analysis which will follow later. This one page is just a sample. So whenever, I'm sure a lot of people will get clarity as we understand these deeper subjects a little bit more clearly. Whenever we say Brahman or this consciousness is the cause of the world, we are saying that Karanam is Brahman, the cause is this consciousness, and Karyam is this world. Clay is the cause, pot is the Karyam. In our analysis, this is what we do. Waking, dream, and sleep. These are three states. They are Karyam, and the Karanam is Turiyam. This is Adhyaropa state. We superimpose the three states on consciousness. What is the Apavada, the second stage, the negation stage? We say Brahman is independent, that consciousness can exist independently. When we do this, what we are doing is we are negating all the three states. Waking, dream, and sleep is negated. Badaha. Badaha means it is negated, intellectually negated, not physically negated. That time we are using the second law and second principle, and there we say there is no Karya Karana Sambandha because Brahman alone is. It is an independent principle. When this Brahman is taken as an independent principle, it is called as paramarthikam, absolute. In this Adhyaropa stage, we call it as relative. Brahman is related to the waking, dream, and sleep. But in the negation of it, when we say Apavada stage, these are the two states used for Mahavakya Vichara. This should be very clear if we want to understand this Turiyam as our nature. In Mahavakyam, we say that Brahman is the Vivarta Upadana Karanam, changeless cause of this universe is this pure awareness. And what is Maya? Maya is the Shakti. And it has got the real Karya Karana Sambandha with the world. So I, as this pure awareness consciousness, I have a Shakti in me. That Shakti is called as Maya. That Shakti is called as Avidya, Mula Avidya. Why Mula Avidya? It is, the term Mula Avidya means that Shakti, that power, when it operates, it forgets that its own nature, which is that pure consciousness. This is exactly what happens when we are in the waking state or the dream state or the sleep state. I am that pure consciousness is the ultimate essence. When I don't know this, when I am aware, when this nature of mind gets covered, then this Shakti starts operating, and then it gives us an appearance of this entire waking, dream, and sleep. So this Maya, Shakti, and this world, they have the same order of reality, Samana Satta. Whereas pure consciousness does not have the same reality, it is independently existing principle. Bhinna Satta. Brahman and world have got Bhinna Satta. That means different order of reality. So this is the second point I want to just introduce so that you are familiar with the techniques of analysis. We will study the Sat, Asat, and Mithya in detail later. Sat means which is always existent, which is pure consciousness. Asat means it is never existent, non-existent. Like the sky flowers, never existent. Hot ice cream, never existent. And what is Mithya? Mithya is in between Sat and Asat. It is a new term used in Vedanta. Other philosophers do not accept Mithya. Like Visishta Advaitin, they don't accept. Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Buddhism, they all are having only one order of reality. This Mithya concept means it is introduced by Vedanta to reach that paramarthika satya. We must know why we introduce in Vedanta Mithya. It is a concept, it is an idea, but to reach that pure consciousness, we use the term. You see, these are all only words, but we have to bring out the reality, bring out that pure consciousness as awareness principle and understand that that is my real nature. So that which can never be negated by any method except Brahmanyanam is what is called as vyavaharika satya. This is an important definition of what is vyavaharika satya. Vyavaharika means it is transactional reality. All what I experience in the waking state, Veda doesn't say that it doesn't exist. It only says it is an appearance. Know it as an appearance and don't give it a reality beyond what it is. Exactly like dream. How will you consider yesterday's dream today? It just came, it appeared and went. Similarly, waking also comes, it appears, we have some experiences, good, bad, and then it goes away. But what is my real nature? My real nature is consciousness. I must spend more and more time behind knowing my nature and drop the experiences of Jagrat and Swapna and Sushupti which come and go. When I learn to do that through Vedanta, then I know that I am that pure Sat Chit Ananda. And in Sat Chit Ananda, there is no Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata, Bheda. When I say Brahman is timeless, when I say Om is timeless, timeless means what? There is no differences between two consciousness. There is no two consciousness. That is called as Sajatiya. There is no Jati. Sajati. Rahita. There are no two conscious. That means there is no two, you don't have one consciousness and my consciousness. They are not two different consciousness, like two different spaces, but there is only one space, one consciousness. Therefore, it is called Sajatiya Bheda Rahita. Vijatiya means what? It is not consciousness and the world, because the world originates and resolves in consciousness. There is only one reality. That reality is what the Upanishad is teaching me. And it is telling me that is in you, that is you, that is Atma. No Vijatiya Bheda. And Swagata Bheda means in me, the consciousness, there are no parts. Like a tree has got leaves, fruit, trunk, branch, so many things. In consciousness, it is one undifferentiated, undivided principle. When you know all these 4 points, 5 points which I have discussed, then you are ready for Mahavakya Vichara. So all what I have discussed so far is an introduction to verse 2, but the real analysis of verse 2, I am Atma Brahma, starts now. I will introduce this chart. I will continue this chart next week. But this is the essence of the Mahavakyam. Whenever you understand the Mahavakyam, you must have this chart with you. You can use this chart for all the 4 Mahavakyams. I am Atma Brahma, Tat Tvamasi, Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahma Asmi. These are the 4 Mahavakyams in the Vedas, in the Upanishads. There are hundreds of Mahavakyams in the Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita, Kshetrajnam Chapimam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. That is a Mahavakyam. So whenever we analyze the Mahavakyam, this chart should be in front of you. Very, very profound chart, very detailed, but you must understand, like E is equal to MC squared. You must understand A is equal to B. A is Atma, B is Brahman. A is equal to B is the chart of Vedanta. E is equal to MC squared was given by Einstein, but the Rishis have given us A is equal to B. Atma is Brahman. What does this Atma mean? Atma means that Chaitanya Swarupam, the knowing principle. Chaitanya means knowingness. Knowingness does not belong to the body. Knowingness does not belong to the mind. Knowingness belongs to consciousness, awareness. And the knowingness, Atma, is Brahman. Means this consciousness being, knowing, is Brahman, is all pervading. Whatever I indicate as the universe, the whole cosmos, is nothing else but this awareness. From this awareness, the world is born. The world of matter is born. Scientists do not use this vision of the world, which is presented by Vedanta and the Upanishads. They are struggling with what to know what is consciousness, but the Upanishads are very clear to give us the right, truthful vision of this universe. So this consciousness, Atma, it can be called as Atma, it can be called as Brahman. And it is Sat and Chit. It is existence, I am. Whenever you say I am and you stop with that I am, it means you are referring to yourself as that pure nature. You can do it throughout the day. Stop with I am. Realize I am that nature, I am that existence, and I am conscious. When you realize this existence and consciousness, you become familiar with your eternal principle. Body is not eternal. Body is an appearance. Mind also is an appearance. They come and go. They resolve into this consciousness. They come out of consciousness, they resolve into consciousness. I am Atma Brahma. This Atma in me is the core of the universe. It is the universe of consciousness. It is not me who is just consciousness. This universe can be represented as an individual Vyashti, the Jivatma, with reference to a specific body and mind. This consciousness can be referred to the total as Paramatma. Paramatma means the supreme being. Supreme because it is beyond all this universe. The moment you use param, it means beyond. Paramatma, that means there is a totality of the same being which is me. It is infinite in nature. Whenever I say infinite, you must remember the word infinite, param, refers to three limitations. Beyond three limitations: time-wise, space-wise, object-wise limitations. If they are removed, what remains is called as infinite. And that is what we are every day experiencing as our nature in Sushupti. This is what the Upanishads tell us. Brahman Upanishad, Prashno Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. There are references there. There are verses there which tell us the Upanishads teaches us our real nature is this Turiyam, this pure consciousness. That consciousness is only one, but it appears as an individual body, it appears as this total universe. With this brief introduction of consciousness, I will stop today, and I will continue this next week. And this is the essence of the whole Upanishads. The whole Upanishads is in this chart. Whatever we are going to discuss, it's there in this chart. And also in this chart. These two, and the following mantras which I have indicated here, these are the places in the Upanishads which talk about the same timeless consciousness. There are 6 verses. I have just taken it out from the Upanishad. I just added it so that we'll go through this next week, so that you get a clear picture of what this consciousness is. That is the idea behind putting these small additional notes which I have done in the last 3-4 days. I just added these notes. It is not there in your notes which I have sent to you, but if you're interested, I can send it over to you later on. But we will study this next week. Okay, so we will stop our session of the presentation of the Upanishads, Mandukya Upanishad here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we'll open up the Q&A portion now. If there are any questions, you can post it on the on the chat box, or you can ask a question. I will ask Shanmugam to unmute everybody so that you can ask questions anytime. Ramesh, you wanted the notes. These are the notes which I've just prepared. You wanted these notes. I think that's what you're referring to. I will arrange to send it to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I would like, if you can share your experience of meditation in this group. Maybe if you have 1 or 2 points, you can share it. Or if you have any questions on meditation or on what we spoke today, please ask, because this is something which is an opportunity where we can also learn from others.
Good evening, Shekharji. This is Sandeep.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going through this Drigdishya Viveka text, okay?
Yeah.
And there are some 6 meditation techniques, 6 meditation verses which they have given, right?
Yes.
The Sakshi Bhavana and
Yes.
and the Shabda Vitta,
Yes.
doing meditation, it's not like we'll be chanting outside, but we'll be chanting inside.
Correct.
That I am the absolute Brahman and all these things.
Yeah.
So what is, I don't have any questions. So Sakshi Bhavana, I think if we can do Sakshi Bhavana entire whole day, I think that is one of the good step, that we could make a progress towards the Brahman, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yes, that's correct. So what this Sakshi Bhavana, if you want to really understand a little bit more detail of what was discussed there, you can go through my Drigdashya Viveka class notes of these 6 meditations which were discussed there. So, but basically, meditation is just an exercise. Slowly, we are learning to do how these exercises one by one. What we are doing is Sakshi. What you're saying is Sakshi Bhavana is absolutely right. So I remain as a Sakshi. Sakshi means I remain as a witness. If you can do that, fantastic. If you can do that on your own as a Sakshi, if you have been meditating before and if you're able to go, see what happens is in the seat of meditation for 5 minutes. Every day you just close your eyes, observe your mind, observe your mind. The more you observe your mind, the more you will know, I am not that mind. That is the beauty of meditation. Let any thought come, doesn't matter. See, that is what is, see, meditation is our nature. Now we are learning through these classes, and we are trying to understand and go a little bit more deeper and understanding that. But the truth is ourself, you know. So Sakshi Bhava is our nature. And through these sessions, we are learning how I can go back to my root of pure existence, pure consciousness, pure Sakshi. So the Sakshi Bhava is going to come a little bit more deeper when we do Omkara meditation as taught in this Upanishad. We have not entered that at all. There is going to be a very, very elaborate Omkara meditation coming. See, for that only, these are all the stepping stones.
Yeah,
Good.
Shekharji,
Yeah.
yeah, Shekharji, one more thing. I mean, this question will definitely help others as well. So while we are doing meditation, obviously, you know, our mind, you know, will be like full of thoughts, okay, wandering here and there and all these things. So one technique is to get back into the breath, right?
Yes.
If the, yeah,
That's
that is
correct.
one thing.
You can practice this. You can see the difference in your mind. You see, whenever you focus on your breath, you will immediately quieten down. All the thoughts will come down. This is mentioned in the Yoga Shastra books. Patanjali Yoga Shastra books also talk about this observation of breath. And it's also talked in the Upanishads. Kaivalya Upanishad, they all talk about observing the breath. Because prana and the mind have a very intimate connection. Very intimate connection. These truths are known from the Upanishads. Normally, we would not know at all. So, suppose somebody is too agitated in life, become angry very fast, you become, restless, then this meditation of the breath, but don't observe it for too long. It is only required for say 2 minutes, 2 minutes. That's all. After that, you use whatever is the knowledge of the Upanishads. I am that pure consciousness. Let that thought come again and again, because that is the ultimate truth. Prana is not the truth. The awareness is the truth. I am that awareness which is observing this prana. I am the awareness which is observing this mind. The mind has got so many thoughts. So many thoughts.
Yeah, it's something like a person, right? If someone is watching a person, you know, doing his things, obviously he'll be more aware of it, right? You know,
Yes.
obviously his actions would be much more meaningful, you know,
Yes.
rather than doing something weird, right? So
Yeah.
likewise, I think the mind has to look at the prana, and these two are, I mean, I've learned somewhere in Ashtanga Yoga, saying that these two are nothing but like two birds in under one tree.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. You're right. I mean, your understanding is perfect.
Yeah, that's what, Shekharji. I mean, I would like to ask you
Yeah,
this.
that's
Yeah,
correct.
thanks a lot.
It's a good reflection of what you have learned. There's another question from Santiago. He's asking, what is the difference between Mithya and Nithya? There are two Sanskrit terms. Nithya means N-I-T-Y-A. Nithya means eternal. Nithya refers to consciousness. Nithya means eternal. It means it is timeless. It means awareness. Another word for Atma is Nithya. You can refer Nitya refers to consciousness. Whereas Mithya, Mythya or Mithya, Mithya refers to the body. It refers to the gross body. It refers to the subtle body, the mind. It refers to the sense organs. And it also refers to the sense objects, the whole universe. So Mithya means matter, which is the seen. And Nithya means the seer, the consciousness. So Nithya is consciousness, the seer, the ultimate seer. The eyes are seer, no doubt. With reference to the forms, the eyes are the seer. With reference to the eyes, the mind is the seer. With reference to the mind, the consciousness is the seer. So consciousness is called as Nitya Drik. Nitya, Nitya, Nitya Drik. That means it is ever the seer. But the eyes are relative seers. Eyes, the mind, they both are relative seers. Eyes also includes the ears and the tongue and all that, the five sense organs. Now, those are anitya seers. Anitya. Anitya means they are not permanent. Nitya means permanent. Anitya means impermanent. Why we say impermanent? Because in sleep state, they become inert. Whereas consciousness is, even in the sleep state, it is existing in its own self. Nityaha. Nitya means eternal, it means timeless. Whenever we want to use another term for timeless, it is called as Nitya. Is it clear, Santiago? Okay, thank you. Anything else? Anybody else has any other question?
Shekhar sir, I had a question here.
Yeah.
While we are meditating, I think after a certain point of time, I tend to go off, kind of on a like a sleep state. It just suddenly
when you do that, when you almost like go off to a sleep state or a dozing off state, immediately become aware of your thoughts.
Okay.
Immediately become aware of your breath.
Okay.
So that is why in meditation, if you are doing that more often, then what you do is immediately chant Om.
Okay.
Like deliberately chant Om. You just say Om after every 2 minutes.
Right, sir.
So that you never think about going to sleep. It's a natural tendency of the mind to go to sleep when the eyes are closed.
Okay.
That's what we have been doing every day when we go to sleep. We just close our eyes and the mind gets a signal, it's time to sleep. But in meditation, what you have to tell your mind is, before you start meditation, you tell yourself, it's a state, you make a statement to your own mind and say, I'm not going to sleep, I'm going to be aware. I'm going to be aware of everything which goes on. The sound which I'm going to hear, I'm aware of the thoughts, I'm going to be aware of the breath, I'm going to be aware of my own chanting of Om. So this is a practice. The more you practice this type of meditation, because we will be teaching, these type of meditations are like preparations. The more you meditate, then what happens is your mind gets trained. You see, 10 minutes of everyday meditation like this will help you. Only 10 minutes. That's more. Not you. After 10 minutes, you just come out. Don't prolong it too long. Just take one subject matter. I'm going to chant Om. That meditation which I taught you today is a very useful meditation for the night. When you go to sleep, you just say, this body is made up of 5 elements. I'm just going to give it back to the 5 elements. I'm going to remain as awareness. Then what happens? Then they say that you are in meditation in your sleep. You become aware, you are in meditation. That means when you get up in the morning, you're so fresh. Again, you put on the vesham, you put on, you take on the roles. You again take on the body and say, okay, now I'm going to be ready for the whole day. Come on. Well, let whatever comes. Okay, let the body will experience, the mind will go through, the sense organs will perceive different things, different experiences. This is a part of nature. It is not me, it is part of Prakriti. Is it clear, Ramesh?
It's clear, sir. I just, another question elaborating on this. Is there also a way it depends how you close your eyes? That normally when you close your eyes and
Yeah,
look
don't
down.
close your eyes too strongly, you know.
Yeah.
Don't make it too strong. Just gently close and gently open.
I mean, when you close your eyes and look down, you tend to go to
No,
sleep. But
don't
when you
look down or just look, let the sight be facing in the front. That's all.
that's all.
Let inwardly you just face, let the eyes be closed and just look outside right in front. Don't try to look down or don't try to look up. Just let it remain horizontal facing the space. You are aware that in front of you, you're just aware whatever is there in front of you, but the eyes is closed. That's all.
I got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Shekhar, you know what? This is Jacqueline. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
In terms of meditation, right? For the 15 minutes that you have, you were narrating the whole scenario. Then to me, when you narrate, I will follow. But if I do it myself, I will not be able to remember. So what is the best, shortest way of doing the meditation just with the most simple way?
The most simple way is chanting Om.
Okay, got it.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it. And
Yeah.
it doesn't take time. It is very simple. Just chant Om, relax. Again, become aware. Don't go to sleep. Be aware.
Yep.
Again, chant Om, be aware. Again, chant Om, be aware. And then what will happen is in between, some thoughts will come. Oh, I have to go and do that work today, you know, and suddenly you'll think about that, either your outside work and then your mind will drag you outside into the world. Again, remember, oh my God, I got lost. Come back and just chant Om again.
Yes, that's what I would want to hear from you.
Yes. And especially when you do yoga with your eyes closed, suppose your body is doing yoga postures and the eyes are closed.
Yep.
Then you will become aware of all your thoughts. Your thoughts will be there inside your mind.
Yeah.
At that time you will find, oh, I am so aware of my thoughts. That means what? I am that awareness. Thoughts are in me, the awareness. Where are the thoughts coming from? They are in that subconscious mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Okay, yeah, appreciate, because yeah, I know different people have different way of narrating, but to me, I wouldn't remember, so I just want to.
Yeah, no problem. No, see, you try to remember 1 or 2 points in the meditation. Like, for example, I just taught you today that the whole body is nothing but matter of 5 elements.
Yes, that one I remember.
So this you will remember. You will not forget. What is body? Body is air, earth, fire. How to relate? The body is made up of chemicals. That is the earth. The body has got air inside. That is the air. The body has got space. That is the space. Body has got fire in the stomach. That is why I become hungry every 3 hours. So that is the fire principle. So I just relate the body to the 5 elements.
Yep.
And then what you do is you just tell yourself before sleep, I'm just giving this body back to the 5 elements.
Okay.
And then I'm going to sleep. That's all.
Got it.
So the mind goes to sleep with the thought that it has given off the body to the 5 elements. And then what happens? They say, if you do this, they say you are in meditation for 6 hours of your sleep.
Oh, wow.
Then next day morning, immediately when you open up your eyes, you tell yourself, the first thing when you wake up, you tell yourself, hey, the body is coming back to me. I'm going to wear the dress of this body and then going to act in this world. That's all.
Wow. Okay.
You know, bring back the same thought. The air element, I'm going to take it back. The fire element, I'm going to take it back. You know, the earth element, I'm going to take it back. So now I'm again going to take back the 5 elements. The mind gets ready to take the body again.
Right.
And then what happens? You are again running the whole day, but you are becoming aware and more aware that this body is not me and the mind is also not me. And that is what is being going to be taught in this Mandukya Upanishad. The 12 mantras are going to teach us. At the end of these 12 mantras, if you are able to say, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the consciousness which is always aware, Nityaha, eternal. There is no time when this consciousness is not there, which is my nature. The body will fall, the body will go, the body will undergo pains, the mind will undergo a lot of thoughts, you see. But I am none of them. You see, the moment we understand I am the consciousness, this is a greatest teaching of the Upanishads.
Yes, appreciate. I heard this is very powerful, Mandukya. The session that you're teaching is very powerful. If you grasp it, that's all you are.
Yes, thank you, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Okay, if there are any other questions, I will put the notes into the WhatsApp group so everybody can see the additional notes, whatever I prepared, whatever I shared today in the class for verse 2. I will just put it in the WhatsApp group and also put it in the email so that you can all, if you want, you can just see that.
Mr. Shekhar, there's another question just pop up.
Yeah, how can we realize, connect with the Turiya state without dying or disembodying? Even in the deep sleep, you are connected with the body. Oh, beautiful question. Okay, this is called as Deha Abhimana. It means body identification. Okay, now the more you become aware that you are Turiya or your consciousness, the more, okay, which means you become more. Today, if you are 1% conscious of yourself, it becomes 5%. Becomes 10%, it becomes 30%, it becomes 50%. As you learn, as your mind, the intellect learns more about this consciousness, what happens is it will lose and drop the identification, the body as itself. It is just listening. First, you have to listen more and more to these type of scriptures. Let the listening continue. What happens is the impressions which you have in your mind. See, today you are that consciousness. The problem is that the mind has taken you as a hostage. And it has, therefore you think that you are the mind and you think you are the body. Now you have to release that soul, that pure awareness from the clutches of this body and mind. Now, your question is very clear. Do I need to disembody or die before becoming that awareness 100%? No. What they say is, if you get this knowledge that in sleep, I am this pure awareness, and you take it as a fact of life, then what happens is, then your own mind will not protest. You have to take it as a fact, and it is a truth. You take it that I am aware, I am whatever I am in my sleep state as a pure consciousness, that is my real state. Let that remain strongly rooted in you. then what happens is slowly you will find that the more I remember that fact as the truth, slowly I will disembody from the mind, from when I'm in the waking state, I will become more and more aware of my thoughts and less aware of the body. That is the first thing which will happen. Then the second thing is, I will not be bothered whatever thoughts come. It is only for the sake of transactions. Whereas I always remember the truth, whether I'm in the waking state, the sleep state, whether I'm in the dream state, I am always that pure consciousness. There is a lot of teaching, there's a lot of logic involved that is only for the analysis, for the intellect only. But the truth always remains that I am, whether with knowledge or without knowledge, I am that consciousness. What knowledge does is, it removes the obstacle called as the body or the mind. And that is why this Mandukya Upanishad is very, very powerful, because it says the entire state of waking is Mithya. Mithya means it is an appearance. Like the dream came yesterday in my sleep. Another dream came in my waking state. Both are Mithyas, equally Mithya. They are both false. They are appearances, false appearances. But the truth is what? The seer of that is the truth. The seer of the dream, the observer of the dream is that consciousness. The observer of this entire state of waking is this pure consciousness, which is called as Turiya. Very good question. Santiago, I really like your question because you have thought very deeply in this subject matter. Very good. Okay. If there are no other questions, we'll close for the day and then we'll continue next week. We'll study this consciousness a little bit more before we go to the third verse. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om.